I have interviewed many musicians, and they all have a little bit of a different story. Some come from a musical family, some don't. Some are solo performers, while others are in bands, some in more than one band. It's all really interesting, and that's what I love about it. Welcome to Small Talk.
Any and all are welcome here to come and chat with me.
Hi, everyone. Well, my guest today is a singer and a songwriter. And here she is, ladies and gentlemen, and Emily Adams. Hi, Emily. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure, for sure. So tell me about your musical career. When did you start?
I started getting into music when I was 12, when I was growing up in a family of like 7 siblings. I found a guitar under my sister's bed that was pretty beat up and maybe missing some strings. And I pulled it out, found some learning books, and just never put it down ever since.
That's pretty good. So are there other musicians in your family?
My older sister, she played actually in an all-female band. It was called the Dames, and they were Arizona based. They were actually pretty good. They had won, several awards for like best female group and things like that. Mm. And she was an excellent drummer and singer, which was pretty unique, being a singer and being a drummer, Yeah. But other than that, I had 7 brothers and sisters, and there's pretty much just her and I. But my dad was a huge influence because he collected a lot of music.
Oh, okay. So what type of music is yours? Do you prefer?
I think of it as more like journal music. A lot of people that hear it, they might call it folk rock. Sometimes they call it soft rock. Sometimes they call it folk. I call it journal music just because I don't really, I write sort of like, it's like a journal. It's like putting together stories, and it's got so many words, and I don't do like really fancy melodies or fancy musical things. It's just sort of like always, it's really telling a story, and it's just kind of sung in a journal-y type of way.
So when did you start writing?
I started writing when I was 13, 14. I wrote poetry. I would write songs. I read a lot of poetry. I've always liked writing, and I've always liked writing stories. I hope someday I'd even write a book. I love writing.
That's great. Yeah. So, so when did you put it together, like for you performing your own songs?
Mm-hmm. The first time I performed was when I was 12 years old at a public library event. I actually did some Buddy Holly songs. I did Peggy Sue, I did Oh Boy, I did That'll Be the Day, and I was performing in front of our town would get together to the public library, and they would all support talent and stuff like that. So I was wearing a Buddy Holly shirt and everything. I was a nerd. But, I was never afraid to get up there and perform. I love doing it. Even to this day, I'll get on the stage and I'll perform. I love it. Doesn't matter the crowd. The bigger, the better. I love performing.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to ask, where are you? Where do you live?
Right now, I'm in New Jersey. I'm originally from California.
Okay, great. Now, do you, now, as a mature, little bit older, do you perform only your own songs?
Mostly, yes. I do, like if I'm doing a set for an hour performance or a 2-hour performance, there might be 2 or 3 covers in there. But mostly it's my own material. I write all my own words, my own music. Even when I'm with a band, I kind of come in with my own material and I say, this is what we're playing, help me. Okay. It's all pre-written most of the times.
Right. Now, that was another question I was going to ask. Are you in the band? So you do both, right? Solo performer.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
do you have a preference?
I do. I really love being in a band. A lot of fans, family, they always tell me how they love my acoustic singer-songwriter sets. They're more, intimate. You can really hear my voice. You can really hear the words, which I understand. But my passion is really when I have that band behind me and we're all playing as a group, and it's amazing. It's my favorite thing. If I had it my way, I'd play with a band all the time.
Do you play with different bands?
I do. So I usually hire the musicians that work with me, because it's really hard to find people that are always available for just your gigs, right? Yeah. So if you get a good drummer or you get a good guitar player, they've usually got other gigs. Some of them do weddings and they've got other musicians that they play for. So I have a sort of like a roster of musicians that I work with. So if one's not available for one show, I know I can go to the other.
Now, we all know with COVID, a lot of things were shut down. It was hard to
Right.
get gigs. So has things started to pick up for you? And
Oh
you're
yeah, I'm noticing a huge change in just people's open-mindedness now to try at least some things. Like before, it was kind of no, no, we're not doing shows, no crowds, no this, no, and everything was just absolutely no, right? Now it's starting to kind of be like, well, you can show a COVID test, 24 hours prior to the event, and we'll let you in, or as long as you wear a mask, we'll kind of open it up for this. Or crowds are starting to like live events now. People are starting to, come together in live events, which wasn't really a thing for a long time. They were always like, no, no, we're not going into crowds, we're not going into groups.
Yeah.
There was a I'm a huge Tool fan, and there was a Tool concert they were playing actually in close to me in New Jersey,
Mhm.
and I couldn't get anybody to go with me because they were all afraid of crowds, so that's still kind of a thing. But I think people are just being more open to actually opening up their venues now and actually having live music, which we haven't seen for a while.
Yeah, and I've interviewed other musicians or anybody who performs on stage, and I'm saying that times like this we need entertainment,
Right, I agree.
right? Because people get pretty depressed, right? And it's going
Oh,
on
for
forever.
sure. For sure. Yeah, I
Yeah,
had several people reach out to me during this, COVID time where they were just really like, your songs really helped me get through a hard day, or, I was feeling really lonely and I turned your music on and I really relate to it. So I think a lot of people now maybe are listening to things that they might have not related to or listened to prior to just, you're at home, you don't really go to work a lot, or schools were closed down. There's really nothing to do but art. You can read, you can write, and you can listen to music.
did you do any Zoom type concerts or performances during COVID?
Actually, on Sessions Live is the name of the, I guess, platform. They're doing a lot of live music there, which I've started up, and it's gotten some pretty good feedback. Like, you can just kind of, they have like festivals that you can be a part of, so they promote you through the festivals. People can get like a little free ticket. And a lot of artists are doing that. Like one artist had like 4,000 followers, and they were tipping her and sending her. And she was like, "Yeah, I make my living off of Sessions Live." It's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
A lot of things turned to Zoom during COVID, and then a lot of things stayed Zoom after. I feel like a lot of my music teachers ended up just saying, "Wow, the Zoom thing really worked out. I'm just gonna stay via Zoom."
Yeah. Well, as somebody who does interviews, Zoom has certainly worked out for me.
Oh, I
'Cause
bet.
I
I
would
bet.
never been able to interview you, prior to.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. Do you have any records out? See any CDs out?
I do. My album is out. It's called Betrayal. That one's been out for a little bit. We're gonna have my new single released April 13th, and then following that, there's a 10-song second album coming out. So that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a website that people can go and check it out?
I do. If they go to Emily Adams Artist
So can you repeat that? Because you cut out a little bit.
com, it'll have,
You're
oh sure, Emily Adams com.
unfortunately you're
Can you hear
breaking
me?
up. You're breaking up. Every time you go to tell
Uh-oh,
me,
can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Every time you go to say with your website, it cuts out a little bit. So
Okay, can you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you. That's the problem with Zoom.
Okay. Right, we were just talking about it. The website's emilyadamsartist.com.
Okay, so people can go there and order your CDs, or your album,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
And I know there's other sites like Spotify and
Yep.
different play. I don't know all of them, but I know some of them. So
Oh yeah, so any streaming platform, they'll be able to find that album.
great. Now, are you currently writing more songs?
Oh yes. So on my 10-song album, I'm 8 songs in, and I'm writing the last 2. I'm finishing up a couple verses, and then the last 2 that I need to finish to make it 10 songs, those are currently being written as well.
Now, can you give me an idea of what a song would be about? Just any one of them.
Mm-hmm. So my songs are usually, for me, they're usually always about a true story. So whether it be my life or someone else's, it's always based off of something. So I've been through a lot of times of knowing people struggling with addiction, things like that. So a lot of my songs are referencing, people struggling with addiction, depression, bipolar, things that are real life, that people go through. So a lot of my songs do relate to that. And a lot of it's about, like strength, finding the peace and healing in life. So they're very true. And that's another reason why I kind of call it like journal music, because if you open my journal, you can find a lot of my songs in journals,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were a teenager, who were some of your performing idols?
Oh, wow. A big one was Bob Dylan for sure. I got into playing the whole acoustic guitar with the harmonica thing on your neck and all that from Bob Dylan. So he was a big one. Buddy Holly was a big one. I really liked Nirvana. I was like, Kurt Cobain was like my idol for such a long time. And then females, I really liked Avril Lavigne for a while. And then it was Alanis Morissette, Canadian artist, So those were really big influences growing up. And then I got into the band Bright Eyes, the singer Connor Oberst, really good writer, and he really influenced my songwriting.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I think most teenagers have, whatever's current, but also the oldies are still very much a part of everybody's life, it seems, right?
Oh, for sure. I don't think those will ever go away.
Yeah, must be good. Must have been good music.
Oh yeah, and I can, I appreciate my dad for that, because I don't think I'd ever had come across that stuff if it wasn't for my dad. I went through his music collection, and he had like old Elvis Presley stuff and Johnny Cash, Hank Williams. Like I wouldn't have had that background if it wasn't, for my dad having that. So I was very fortunate to have my dad be so into music,
Right. Now, when you're performing on stage, like live, does your family go to your performances?
Actually, yes, they all still live in California and I'm in New Jersey. So yeah, but they did make a trip out. My last performance I did in Philadelphia. It was at Jamie's House of Music. Oh, that place had phenomenal sound. Cool. But my sisters and mom, they got to make it out there, and that was like the first time they saw me perform since I was little. So it was really special. I was glad they got to do that. So
right. Now, as things open up, are you going to be traveling?
Yes, so I'm actually on a Rise Up TV tour with Big Records. So I'm going to be doing Mexico, the East Coast, and Europe. And then I was talking to Mark about a few other things. He's the CEO of the record label. And he was talking about there's this one festival in LA, there's something going on in Virginia. So I definitely see a lot of traveling in the future.
How exciting is that, eh?
Oh, so exciting, so exciting.
No, that's our connection. That's how I got connected with your name.
Oh, nice. Yeah, awesome label. They work very hard.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And they suggest to me, it's a win-win for both of us, right? Because they all suggest different artists, different performers to me. And it's like, yes, please, I'm always open. So yeah. I'm glad you're doing well. And I'm glad that this is coming up for you, this with the big records, but Rise Up and Big Records. Really nice to hear that somebody's doing well.
Oh, thank you.
Right. So, I can't think of any other questions. I think I've run out of questions, but I'm glad you're writing. And I will make sure that I will include your website. So we'll just repeat it once again.
Sure. It's going to be Emily Adams artist.com.
Okay. EmilyArtist.com. I'll make sure that's included. So I'm going to just say goodbye to the audience. Thank you, everybody. As I repeated, as I said to Emily, it's so important nowadays to get some entertainment and to support artists, because they do a good job for us. Without them, like, we need music. It touches our soul. So hopefully you'll watch this episode and you'll keep watching and follow Emily, right? And
thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome. And take care, everybody, and peace out.
Bye.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's a place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, Go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's a place to be, you'll see.